Raw on Monday night was the worst kind of show. It was a boring show. A boring 3 hours of television that had a couple of things that I liked. The VIP lounge with Brock Lesnar was not one of them. Brock Lesnar was on the show to accept the challenge of Omos to a match at WrestleMania. Omos was not there. Brock had MVP pitch him on the match. Sell me on this great idea that you have. And MVP did the sell job and Brock accepted. And to celebrate, Brock drank some moonshine from his flask. And when he offered some to MVP, he spat it back in Brock's face. And Brock left him laying with an F5. WrestleVotes on Wednesday, that was on Monday. WrestleVotes on Wednesday tweeted that the highly anticipated, very compelling Brock Lesnar versus Omos WrestleMania match was the idea of one specific powerful person who pushed it through. And in the tweet, they included a Vince McMahon gif. This reeked of Vince McMahon from the moment that it was teased. Especially when you consider how little of Omos we've seen on television since Triple H took over. As the head of creative, he's kept Omos largely off the show altogether. All of a sudden, he's wrestling Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Under Vince McMahon, Omos, he got a tag team title run with AJ Styles. He got a 3-match program last year with Bobby Lashley. Since Triple H took over, he's been guarding the turkey platter and catering. So it's not hard to imagine this being a Vince McMahon idea. I could easily see Vince McMahon making the suggestion to Triple H after his other plans fell through for Brock Lesnar, which I'm going to talk about in a second. You know, Triple H has admitted that he does talk to Vince still about creative, and Vince McMahon makes suggestions, but he says, ultimately, I have the final say. It could have been a Vince McMahon suggestion, and Triple H decided, you know what, my other plan fell through. I need a new opponent for Brock Lesnar. This is not a hill that's worth dying on. I will give the old man what he wants, and maybe he'll keep his hands off the rest of the card. I think Lesnar against Omos is a Triple H concession to Vince McMahon to make him happy and keep him from meddling in the rest of the WrestleMania card. And if that's the case, I can't say that I blame him. He knows the match is not going to go very long, probably 5 minutes tops. I think the entrances with that long aisleway are probably going to be longer than the actual match itself. It'll be the kids' match. Brock Lesnar is for the kids, where they'll get to see him pick up the giant and give him an F5. And yay! So, yeah. Brock Lesnar for the kids this year. Sean Ross Sapp had a report on Fightful that Bray Wyatt was pitched to Brock Lesnar as an opponent for WrestleMania, and Brock Lesnar rejected the idea. Not only did he reject the idea, but the plan was for Lesnar against Wyatt as late as the day of Elimination Chamber, and then it got changed from Brock Lesnar winning to Bobby Lashley winning, and they came up with that lame finish for the match that they came up with. I said Brock kicked Lashley in the dick, and he got himself intentionally disqualified so that he didn't have to wrestle Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. And it sounds like that's exactly what happened. Omos was the backup, which was probably a Vince idea, and Triple H said fine. Omos was the backup of the backup, because Brock Lesnar originally was pitched many months ago, a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Austin turned it down. I can't blame Brock for not wanting a program with Bray Wyatt. He saw the pitch black match at the Royal Rumble and all the segments with Uncle Howdy and the puppets, and he said, fuck that, I don't want to have anything to do with that. How much does Brock Lesnar have to hate Bray Wyatt, by the way, to agree to a match instead with Omos over him? I think that says a lot. He probably figures, look, I won't have to deal with all the hocus pocus stuff, and instead I could just go in there, I can work a 5-minute match, hit an F5, and fly back to Saskatchewan before the show is even over. I wouldn't be surprised if he asked that they put him on first, so he can get home quicker. That left Bobby Lashley to watch Bray doing the Muscle Man dance on the Titantron, because now Bobby gets Bray at WrestleMania. We still have yet to see Bray Wyatt work an actual match, an actual wrestling match, since he came back 5 months ago. It'll be 6 months by the time we get to WrestleMania, not counting the Rave Club match at the Royal Rumble. On Smackdown Friday night, Bobby Lashley showed up to call out Bray, but he got Uncle Howdy instead. And Lashley put down Howdy Doody with a spine buster, then the lights went out, and when they came back on, Howdy was gone. And no Bray Wyatt to be found on the show at all. What had been for a while the most intriguing stuff on SmackDown week to week, outside of the Bloodline angle, has become the worst thing on SmackDown every week. Because nothing ever happens. Nothing happens. What is there to be excited about? You know, the White Rabbit stuff, not everybody was into it, but a lot of people were. I was into it. It was engaging. It was interesting to follow along. It was starting to get a little long in the tooth there at the end. It was like, all right, enough already. But, you know, the clues had people engaged. It was a hugely successful campaign. Triple H supposedly is going to be doing more of that kind of stuff in the future. So at least there was something to keep the fans engaged week to week. What does this mean? You know, is it Bray? Is it somebody else? Oh, wait, there's a QR code. Right? There was all these different things that were going on. What is there to be interested in with the Bray Wyatt stuff right now? It's the same nonsensical stuff every week, over and over and over, and feuding with Bobby Lashley is not going to change that. Bray Wyatt basically, he exists in his own little universe on these shows. He's doing his own story. It doesn't even matter who he's feuding with. You know, first it was LA Knight, now it's Lashley, because Brock wanted nothing to do with any of this. It's plug and play. You could put anybody in there. It doesn't matter. Their story doesn't matter. They're just stepping into the fun house with Bray. If Bray wants to be an actor, then Bray should be an actor. It's still a wrestling show. You need to wrestle. There should be some sort of goal in mind for why this man came back. Why did Bray Wyatt come back? Did he come back to win the championship that Roman Reigns stole from him? What's his mission statement? We don't know. It's all riddles, and it's all spooky mystery with questions that go unanswered. We don't know. It's been over 5 months, and I'm still wondering why Bray gets in the ring at all when he actually does. Why is he here? I've said before, I think Bray would do very well doing horror films. He's got one coming out soon, in fact, that he filmed before he came back. But after 5 months, you know, shit or get off the pot already. Every time I think they're going to give us something, we get nothing. You know, there's an old Married with Children episode where Al takes a road trip with the family on Labor Day. They go in the mighty Dodge, and they get in the car and they hit the road and they get stuck in traffic. And they're just sitting there for hours. They're not moving. Nothing is happening. And when it looks like the traffic up ahead is finally starting to move, they all get back in the car. He puts the car in drive, and he moves a whopping 6 inches. And there they continue to sit. That's how I feel about Bray Wyatt on SmackDown. At this point, I don't care if they reveal Uncle Howdy to be Bo Dallas or Diamond Dallas Page, as long as they give us something. Because this shit sucks. By the way, I mentioned John Cena is returning tomorrow night. He just landed a new movie role as the voice of Rocksteady in the upcoming CGI animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie that comes out on August 4th. Seth Rogen is going to be playing Bebop in the movie. I was so disappointed the first time I watched The Secret of the Ooze. And I still like The Secret of the Ooze. That was the second live-action Ninja Turtles movie that came out many years ago. I was so disappointed the first time I watched that movie expecting Bebop and Rocksteady. And instead we ended up with Reza and Toka. Because the creators wanted nothing to do with the cartoon. They didn't want anything from the cartoon in that movie, so that was the compromise. Instead of Bebop and Rocksteady, we'll do these two new characters. And I was so disappointed. Now we get John Cena and Seth Rogen as the voices of Bebop and Rocksteady. I say we, like I'm going to watch the fucking thing. I still haven't watched the Batman from last year. But I'm looking at this cast list here. We got Jackie Chan is going to be voicing Master Splinter. Ice Cube will be the voice of Superfly. Brother, there was a fly in the briefcase, brother. I assume it's not that Superfly. Who the hell is Superfly? I saw Superfly. I thought, is that Baxter Stockman? But then I looked further down the list and it shows Giancarlo Esposito is going to be voicing Baxter Stockman. Gus from Breaking Bad is going to be Baxter Stockman. Post Malone is going to be Ray Fillet. And Paul Rudd is going to be the voice of Mondo Gecko. Bring back Super Shredder, you cowards. The most badass looking villain ever. He's on screen for 2 minutes and he commits suicide by falling wood. Pisses me off to this day. Kevin Nash deserved a better ending than that.